One of the core essentials for KIDStory is being spirit-led. Understanding that it's the Holy Spirit, God Himself, working in the hearts and the minds of the leaders and the kids as well. So what does it mean to be spirit-led? Well, what I'd like to do in this quick tip is to be able to show you some examples and some testimonies of how the Spirit has led children and leaders and myself as well. So join us here on this week's KIDStory Quick Tips. One testimony about being spirit-led is actually a 7-year-old girl that told her mom how the Spirit and how God had spoken to her during the morning at breakfast. And the mom was kind of mystified because she's like, we don't talk like that at home. So I have to believe that it was through the ministry that my daughter was hearing God and hearing the Holy Spirit. And so I asked her, well, how do you know? And this little 7-year-old girl said, well, this morning when we were having breakfast and my little sister was bugging me and I just wanted to slap her. But then I felt like God was speaking to me and saying, now is that how I would treat you? And so I decided not to hit her. The mom realized truly the Holy Spirit had been speaking to this little girl and she was being obedient to what God was saying to her. Well, another example that I can give actually is probably how not to listen to the Holy Spirit, but knowing that the Holy Spirit's working. So very quick, I was trying something out during a workshop that had worked in the previous workshop. And I kept thinking, I want to try this again. Let me see if it works again. And I know now it was the Holy Spirit speaking to me saying, no, don't do that. Don't go there. But being a little stubborn, I decided, but I just want to try it. I want to see if it works again. And it fell flat. No response at all. And I realized God was speaking to me and I needed to not do what I had done before, though it worked, that's not what God wanted to do this time. The Spirit was speaking to me and I needed to listen and to be obedient to that. Here's one other example that I'd like to give you. And it was actually in my own Sunday school class that I was teaching. It was a group of children they were probably 6 to 11 years old. And they had been rambunctious all morning and trying to get their attention. They did pretty well during the telling of the story, but then I tried a couple of different retells. But I knew the one retell that I was eventually going to go to was I wanted the children to be quiet and to draw how they were approaching Jesus, just like the children approached Jesus and when He blessed them. So we turned the lights down a little bit and I just asked them to imagine going to Jesus. It was all quiet, very quiet. And then they had a piece of paper and some crayons. And I said, I want you to draw now what it's like for you to approach Jesus and have Him bless you. And if you can, I want you to write what He's saying to you. It was amazing. For a good 5 minutes or more, those kids were attentive to what they were doing. They were listening, they were responding, they were drawing, and the results were incredible. Truly, the Holy Spirit was at work. And it was because I had prayed about it. I had prayed about the different retells to do, and eventually the Lord showed me that one, the drawing, was to be last. And it was amazing. God truly spoke through His Spirit to those children, and they were blessed. So try it this week. Be still. Listen to the Holy Spirit. Be prepared in prayer like I was, and just here's what God's saying about how to tell the story, how to do some retells, the questions to ask, and then just trust and obey. Watch the Holy Spirit at work. It is amazing. Thanks for joining us here on this week's KIDStory Quick Tips. God bless you.